Wait, what if I told you that you could rent a brand new apartment in New York City with floor-to-ceiling windows, a full kitchen, stunning views of Manhattan for just $200 a month? Yeah, I said that out loud. $200. I know what you're thinking. There has to be a catch. And honestly, I thought the same thing. But I went there. I walked through it. I stood 57 floors up looking at the Empire State Building thinking, this can't be real, but it is. And today I'm taking you with me. So here's the thing about Long Island City that nobody tells you. People hear Queens, and they immediately think, that's far. But I'm standing right here on the waterfront, and I can literally reach out toward the Chrysler Building. It feels like Manhattan is just there. One subway stop. That's it. One stop, and you're in Midtown. And the neighborhood itself, it has this energy that's hard to explain. It's not trying too hard like some parts of Brooklyn. It's not overwhelming like Midtown. It's just real, like a neighborhood that actually lives. You've got little bars tucked into corners, restaurants with outdoor seating spilling onto the sidewalk, a place that spreads hummus and love. I read the sign. I'm not making that up. There's a karate studio, a Japanese grocery that's almost open, an Irish center that literally has the word welcome on the wall, which I appreciated personally because I needed encouragement today, and Bear Burger. Okay, I have to be honest with you. I had a problem with Bear Burger, like a real problem, once or twice a week for months. I'm 2 months clean right now, and I'm proud of that. But walking past it today, it tested me. The streets here have character. Little brownstones, community gardens squeezed between buildings, trees lining the sidewalks. There's a waterfront park where you can just sit and stare at Manhattan like it's a painting hanging on the wall of the whole city. This doesn't feel like a compromise. This feels like a secret. So the building we're headed to is right on the water. And when I say right on the water, I mean you will look out your window and see the Atlantic Ocean in the distance. I'm not being dramatic. I verified this with my own eyes and mild vertigo. Now, fair warning, it's still under construction, which means I had to wear a hard hat. And this is genuinely the first time any of you have seen me in a hat. I'll let you decide if it works for me. But the moment I stepped into that construction elevator and started going up 10 floors, 20, 30, 40, I started to feel something. That mix of excitement and disbelief that you only get when something is actually genuinely too good to be true, but somehow isn't. 57 floors up. I level with some of the tallest buildings in New York City. I'm standing there, hard hat on, looking at One World Trade, the Empire State, the Chrysler Building, all of them just there in front of me like a postcard that you're somehow inside of. That body of water in the distance, that's the Atlantic Ocean. I've paid $20 for Empire State Building tickets and gotten a worse view. Okay, let's talk about what's actually inside this building, because this is where it gets real. The studio. This is where I had my moment. I walked in and I just stood there for a second because the finishes are nice. Not nice for a cheap place, nice. Just nice. Period. Full-size kitchen. Sink sprayer. Which sounds small, but those of you who have lived in Manhattan studios with a kitchen the size of a carry-on bag know exactly why I'm mentioning it. The bathroom is clean, modern, well-designed. 2 closets at the entrance. 2 more in the back. In a studio. I've seen 2-bedroom apartments in Manhattan with less storage than this. And that studio, you can get it starting at $200 a month. Let that number sit for a second. $200 in New York City. In a brand new building, with an ocean view from the roof. Now, and I'll explain how in a minute, the pricing is income-based. So the range goes from $200 at the lowest income bracket up to around $2,000 at the highest. And even at $2,000, for what you're getting, that's still a deal. The 1-bedroom felt like being in a hotel. Corner unit. Natural light flooding in even with no overhead lights on. Just the city pouring through the windows. Views of Midtown. Views of downtown. That little waterfront park sitting right below you like a green accent on a really expensive outfit. Then we walked into the 3-bedroom. And I'll be honest, I kind of wanted to just stay. This thing has 2 bathrooms. Big medicine cabinets. That same incredible kitchen. And the view from the corner? Midtown on one side, downtown on the other. In Manhattan, something like this rents for $7,000 a month. Here, you can get it starting at $1,200. The hallways look like a boutique hotel corridor. There's going to be a rooftop deck on the 33rd floor, a gym, another lounge space up top. This building is serious. So here's how this works. And pay attention because this is the part that actually matters. These apartments are rent stabilized through a program called the NYC Housing Connect Lottery. The city requires certain developments to set aside affordable units in exchange for tax incentives. The income limits are surprisingly broad. You can make up to nearly $250,000 and still qualify for some tiers. So this isn't just for people at the lowest income levels. It's designed to actually create mixed communities. The lottery for this building closes December 29th. If you miss it, there's a second tower coming. Another lottery, another shot. But here's what I want you to really hear. New York City has a reputation for being impossible. For being this place where unless you're already rich or you got lucky years ago, there's no room for you. And most of the time, that feeling is justified. The city is expensive and exhausting, and it doesn't always make it easy to love it back. But this building, this lottery, this is the city actually leaving a door open. $200 to start your life in New York City, with a view that people pay millions for. One stop from Midtown. 7 minutes from a waterfront that'll make you remember why you want to be here in the first place. You might not win the lottery. Odds in NYC housing lotteries are real, and I'm not going to lie to you about that. But you can't win if you don't enter. And the link to apply is in the description right now. Long Island City is not a consolation prize. It's not the next best thing. Standing there 57 floors up, looking out at the whole city laid out in front of me, that felt like the thing itself. Apply. See what happens. And if you want to see more of this neighborhood, I've toured another building on this same block, and I'll link that below. New York City is big and complicated and expensive, and also sometimes surprisingly generous. This might be one of those times.